So today we're diving into the story of Easter, but we're going to strip it back to its core message. Our source suggests that behind all the historical events, there's this universal promise that even after the darkest moments, love and hope will triumph. So let's unpack that idea together.
All right, section 1, a feeling of hope. Now, before we even get into the story itself, our source asks us to start with a very specific feeling. A feeling that, they argue, is really the foundation for this entire narrative. Think about that quiet moment of a new morning, that feeling of calm and possibility. The source points to this as a universal human experience, a moment where we can almost sense something bigger than ourselves. And it's exactly this feeling that the Easter story aims to capture and, well, make permanent.
This question on the slide, it's really the heart of this entire interpretation. The belief in this something bigger, this current of hope that runs underneath everything, is presented as the key to understanding all the events that are about to unfold.
And that brings us to the core definition for this explainer. See, instead of just a historical commemoration, Easter is framed here as a reminder. It's a powerful annual symbol of a love that is so resilient it refuses to be extinguished even when it's put to the ultimate test.
Okay, section 2, the message of love. So if Easter is all about a persistent love, what exactly was the message? According to our source, the message Jesus brought was remarkably simple, but it laid the groundwork for the central conflict of the story.
Here we see a really crucial distinction. The goal wasn't judgment or division, but connection. The mission was all about bridging gaps and fostering unity, an idea that flew directly in the face of the prevailing forces of fear and isolation at the time. This slide just perfectly visualizes that core conflict. Fear isolates, it builds walls. Love connects, and it heals. The entire Easter story, as it's presented here, is the ultimate demonstration of how love overcomes fear. Now for section 3, the darkest night. But to truly put this message of love to the test, the story had to pass through a period of profound darkness. Let's take a look at the timeline of that trial.
This timeline really outlines the ultimate test. It begins with the crucifixion, which our source interprets not just as a physical act, but as a moment where the pain, the sorrow, and the brokenness of the world were all carried. That's the absolute low point. But the timeline shows it doesn't end there. On the third day, he rose, and the result? He conquered death itself, proving that life and love are in fact the stronger forces.
And right here, at the lowest point, the entire story hinges on this one powerful sentence. It's a promise that darkness does not get the final say in this narrative.
Section 4, the light of the morning. And with that promise, the story turns from darkness to light. This is the moment where the true meaning of the whole story is finally revealed.
This Bible verse is often cited as the why behind the entire story. It reframes the sacrifice not as a tragedy, but as a deliberate act of love, a gift that makes the promise of eternal life possible for anyone who believes in this powerful message.
So, if we boil it all down, our source leaves us with these 3 essential lessons. 1. Even after the darkest night, light will come. 2. Hope is resilient and never truly dies. And finally, in the end, love always wins. That is the core promise of the story.
And our 5th and final section, the promise of Easter. So what does this ancient story mean for us, right here and now? This last part focuses on the invitation that the story offers us today.
The conclusion is really an invitation, broken down into 3 steps. Step 1 is to believe in the power of love itself. Step 2 is to believe in forgiveness, both in giving it and in receiving it. And step 3 is to believe in the possibility of a new beginning, no matter what has happened. It's presented as a practical roadmap to actually live out the story's message. And this brings us to the final, central claim of our source. It's the ultimate summary, the one idea that supports everything we've just discussed.
And there it is. 2 words that sum up this entire message. Love wins. The core idea is that in the great struggle between fear and love, between despair and hope, love is the ultimate victorious force. A simple but profound promise. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.